Hi, welcome to our Monday class. I am glad that you're here practicing with me live. So you can ask me any questions that you may have. If you are here on Mondays at 11:30 Pacific Standard Time, so California time, then you're welcome to ask questions or request a class so that we can practice for these 30 minutes together. If you're watching this after it has gone live, and you still want to request something for next week, please do just write me a comment and you can request a practice that you would like. And if I can do it, I will try to help out. So today I thought that we would do a practice for those days that you don't feel like practicing, days that you feel uninspired and tired and maybe overwhelmed with so many things that you have to do, especially in the spring where school's ending and all kinds of summer's coming up, and so there's a lot of just a lot of things going on, and you may not have enough time or enough inspiration to take the time to come to your mat and do your practice. So we're going to do something that is just really supportive for your day so that you can, you know, get everything flowing and moving, and a little bit of hip opening, a little bit of standing poses, but in a really easy and relaxed way. So hopefully you like this. Hopefully you can have this for those days that you really don't feel like practicing, and maybe it'll get you started. And once you get on the mat, sometimes it just, things change and you feel excited about working on the body for a little bit. So here we go. We're going to get started. If you have a strap, use a strap, but a towel or a belt or an old sweatshirt, anything that you may have for this would work, and just a mat. So here we go. Okay, so we're going to start out. Let me fix this here. Okay, so we're going to start out by just sitting on your mat and taking a few breaths. So sit in a comfortable pose. I'm going to sit in Virasana. If you don't know this Virasana pose, or if this is too difficult, there are plenty of videos back in the channel that you can watch that teach you how to get to the place where you can sit down in Virasana. And why Virasana? Because it lengthens the quads, creates opening in the hips. It's great for digestion, for anxiety, all kinds of things. So I really do recommend this pose. When I started out, I definitely took a few years to be able to come closer to the floor. So, you may start here with blocks. I'll show you. Okay, so you may start here. Okay, and sit on this pose with a little bit more support. Okay. So sit on any comfortable pose. And if you have a spot for yoga in your, where you live, and you can have that spot be where you practice every day, you can start generating this positive energy, let's just call it that, or these good vibes around where you practice. And so when you come to the mat, even if you don't feel like practicing, bring a little bit of joy. Even if you're having those days where you just feel awful, this can be a space where, you're collecting just a clean, safe space that you have where you can practice. And eventually, hopefully, every time you're near that space, it'll bring you kind of a sense of peace, at least. Okay, so sit down. And start grounding the heads of the femurs towards the floor. And take a few deep breaths. So here, when you're sitting down, if you are feeling that the head of the femur is coming up towards the thigh, then just notice that and push it down. And take another few breaths. And then release any tension in the eyes, the ears, the throat. Maybe peel the tongue from the roof of the mouth and rest that tongue in the bottom of the mouth and release. And then inhale, soften the belly, and exhale. And if you'd like to put your hands together, you can chant Om silently. All right. So the first pose that we'll do is just grab a strap and we're going to lay down on the mat. Right, lay down here. All right. And you're going to just bring the right leg into the chest. And when you're doing this, make sure that your hands are in the middle of the thigh, not on the knee or on the ankle, but on the middle of the thigh here. And when you push the leg into the chest, notice at first we're contracting muscles. So we're creating some sort of a resistance right around the head of the femur here. So when you bring the knee towards your chest, release that tension here in this circumference here in the groin area. So first you bring it down and you maybe feel that resistance, and then you release the head of the femur, release that groin, and see if you can soften and bring the thigh into the chest. And then straighten the leg and bring the left leg in. So inhale, exhale, bring it closer, release any tension, any gripping around the circumference of the leg, the groin area, soften the groin, bring it closer to the chest. And see if you're accumulating any tension around the head, the eyes, the ears, and the throat. And do this while you're breathing. So inhale and exhale through the nose. Next thing that we'll do is we'll grab a belt and put that belt around your right foot. And I'm going to have that leg be completely straight. So maybe you're here, or maybe we can bring the leg all the way up. So bring the leg closest to 90 degrees from the floor. And here, I want to make sure that the leg that I'm lifting is very straight. So bring the leg to 90 degrees, make the knees very, very straight. Push up through the heel of the leg. And again, we're going to do the same thing where we soften this groin area. So notice here, if when you're doing this, if there's a gripping around the groin, around the top of the head of the femur there, and if there is, soften and then bring the leg back. So bring the leg back by softening, especially the groin of the opposite leg. Okay, and inhale and exhale, bring the leg down, and what I'll have you do is go ahead and, so if you have a wall available, scooch so that you're close to the wall, and you're going to place the left foot on the wall here. And you're going to notice if you're going to see if you notice anything different. So push this leg against the wall first. Make the left leg that's on the ground, make that leg very active. So make a muscle, make a fist with a muscle in your leg and make that muscle hug the bone. So you have that contact with the foot against the wall. And this leg is active, so if I were to touch it, I feel that my muscle is active all over the leg. So thighs, hamstrings, everything. So hugging the bone of my leg. So without losing the firmness in my left leg, I'm going to lift my right leg and see if you notice a difference. So without adding any tension in the eyes, the ears, the throat, keep the bottom leg very active. Inhale, exhale, lift the leg. But keeping the bottom leg very active. So notice if there is any difference. And usually you can have a much more effective pose like this. So keeping the left leg that's on the floor very active, lift the right leg, keep the right leg very straight, and breathe through the nose, stretching the back of the leg, so the back of the top leg, which is a great way to relieve back pain, especially lower back pain. All right, bend the leg, and we'll do the same thing with the left. So here, I'm just going to make sure that I keep that right leg in contact with the wall, make a fist with my right leg, so make that right leg very active. Hug the bone, or hug the muscle around the bone. Then, I'm going to lift the left leg. Left leg is very straight. You can flex the foot. Make sure that your shoulders are on the ground here. So keeping the right leg active, pushing towards the floor and towards the wall. And we straighten the leg. And so I'll show you another thing that happens here because of the tightness in the back. Here, what ends up happening is my hip bone comes like this. It comes towards my armpit. So I create this kind of cheating situation to avoid too much tightness here, or too much sensation here. So here I come here and I pull this hip back down so that the hip is parallel with the wall. Okay, so usually this happens, and then I turn it back. So I can bring my computer here so you can see that a little bit closer. Okay, so here we go. So this is a common, it's what we do to compensate for tightness. So we break the leg up, and I'll shorten this waist. Let's see. Okay, so here is what happens usually, right? Because it's super tight. So that I want to make sure that I bring that hip back down, give myself that length here back. Okay, so we're going to watch for this. And then my two hip bones here are parallel to the wall versus slanting. Okay, so bring it back, lengthen the waist, push the bottom leg towards the wall here, and straighten the knee. So avoid this. So this is what you're doing. The work is to bring, you create that space on the side of the body. All right, and when you're finished here, after a few breaths, bring that leg down and towards the wall. So already you're going to be feeling what you're feeling. So check in and see what the effect of this pose is on the body. Usually you start energizing the legs and creating, a lot more length in the hamstrings, which will help the lower back throughout the day. Okay. Now we're going to do one more exercise that really helps the lower back. And believe it or not, if you do this one every day, it improves very quickly. So if you have a block, grab a block. And we're going to lay down here again. Okay. And I'm going to use that trick with the wall where I bring my feet to the wall, my foot to the wall. This time I'm going to add a book or a block or some kind of height, even a folded towel would work, underneath my thigh here. And I'm going to press this support down. So you're going to make sure that you don't have any space here. If you're able to do that with the floor, if you are here, you can press your thigh or quad down and ground the head of the femur here. So femur comes down towards the floor so that you don't have any room over here. That's great. If you still have a little bit of room here where you can put a hand underneath there, then put a support and press the femur down into that support. Press the foot against the wall, and then again, bring the hands around the shin, or your belt, and bring the shin down so that you can bring the leg in contact with the body. So here, don't lose the work of this bottom leg. So keep pressing the leg against the support and against the wall. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring my hand. So my right leg is coming towards the chest. So I'm going to grab my right hand and put the right hand in the middle here. So on the inside of the leg. Then I'm going to breathe. As I exhale, I'm going to bring the right hand around the foot, and I'm going to grab the outside of my foot. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this leg up so that the sole of my foot is pointed towards the ceiling. If this is too intense, then I'll use a belt here. Okay, and I'm going to grab the belt from the outside of the foot. So at first, this is more of an arm workout to keep that leg down. And I'm going to bring the leg back. Okay, you can use the belt here. So a few minutes here, pressing this thigh down onto the block. Take a few breaths. Release the eyes, the ears, and the throat. So we shouldn't have to squint and use any of our facial muscles here to help the leg come down, right? So it's the same idea of how much can we soften around the head of the femur, how much of this grip can I soften? So I think, okay, I'm going to start here, right? If I'm holding onto the foot or onto my strap, and I think how many of these fibers can I release? And I'm going to bring this foot down by releasing instead of by gripping even more. So I hold the foot, I inhale, exhale, soften the eyes, the ears, and the throat, the tongue. Without gripping the face, bring that softness here to the groin. So soften the groin, and then bring the knee down. And then you can bring the knee down by force if you'd like. And then you feel that gripping wherever you feel it. Sometimes it's here right on this groin area. But soften it and see if you can bring it down further. So do this for about 5-10 breaths. And when you're done, go ahead and bring the leg down. You can bring it down against your chest. And it's okay. If this leg doesn't come all the way down, it's okay. But that's what we're working towards pressing the femur down onto the ground. Okay, and then go ahead and straighten that leg. And we're going to put our little support underneath the right leg now. And do a few test runs where you press the leg against the wall, and then you press the femur down onto the block. And see the effect on everything else. So see what that does to the eyes, the ears, and the throat, what that does to the belly. Am I adding any tension, any grip there? Am I starting to grip the eyes, the ears, the throat, especially the tongue? So these stretches are, they're preparations for more advanced work also, but they're really, really great for you to do every day. Okay, and then we bring, so keeping this attention on the right leg that's on the ground, I press that femur down onto the block, I press the foot against the wall, and then I notice that when I start bringing this left leg into my chest, am I gripping, is this here the tightest, trying to resist me bringing this leg into my body. So I'm going to start teaching, creating that, that pathway, I guess, where we release the groin, although we're pressing down onto the block, pressing into the wall, release the groin so that I can get more space and more access to bringing the left leg into my chest. So give it a try. It's pretty nice. So sometimes it takes a few times because we don't realize how much resistance the straight leg is giving us so that we can't move this one. So start working with the tightness in the body like that, and fiber by fiber we start releasing, and then then we can get a little bit more opening in the hip. So by releasing versus by yanking and stretching through the tightness, instead we think of it, release this tightness, start consciously just sending your thought there, your breath there, and slowly release. Same thing here, left hand goes in the middle here, so in the center, coming around and grabbing the outside of the foot. If that's just not accessible right now, then we just put a belt on the outside and grab the outside of the foot. Okay, and work like that. So here we have, so this one first, it'll be a workout on the arms, and then we bring the leg down. And on the next inhale, see how much of the groin of the right leg and of the groin of the left leg that you can start releasing. So release, 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 release. So inhale, soften the eyes, ears, and throat. Press the foot into the wall. Press the, this femur into the right femur into the block. All right. And when you're finished, after a few breaths, go ahead and release. Okay, and when you're ready to come up, roll to the right and come up. Okay, so we have a few more minutes. We'll do a few standing poses just to get up on the feet, get a little bit of work with our own weight, right, out of the floor. All right, so I hope you like these floor exercises. They're really great go-tos, and you can do them for 10 minutes a day, 5 breaths each, but use that concept of using the leg that stays on the bottom, keeping that leg engaged instead of, forgetting about this leg and just bringing the one leg up, and this is just, not engaged and just not working. So use the bottom leg to help engage and make your pose more active and more effective. Okay, so with standing up, we'll start. Okay, we'll do a few standing poses. So we'll start with Trikonasana, and again, refer back to the channel. There's a bunch of videos where I show you how to measure the distance between the legs and little nuances on Trikonasana. But essentially, you want this distance in between my legs to be one full one of my legs plus a foot. So one leg plus a foot. And then we turn the right foot forward and turn the left foot in a little bit. Keep the legs engaged just like you had them engaged, so muscle hugging the bone. lift the chest and come down onto Trikonasana. And here, go ahead and use the wall so you can lean against the wall here. So lean against the wall and come down. And breathe. And here we bring the weight back to the back foot. So inhale and come up. A way to do that is just bring the mat close to the wall. Okay, and then bring a block. So what I'll do here is I'm going to do that right side again, and I'm going to bring my left heel towards the wall. So keep that left heel pushing against the wall, and then push the left heel against the wall, just like we use the wall for sitting poses. We're going to push that left heel into the wall. Keep that pressure, that connection between wall and heel, and then come down. So work like that. Keep pushing the heel back on the wall. Inhale and come up. So give it a try. Try practicing like that. Is actually, you can learn a lot by using the wall here. So we use the wall in the laying down poses. We'll use it in the standing poses too. So there we go. So I have my right heel against the wall this time. So press the heel, keep that contact between heel and wall, and then come down into the pose. So keeping the back leg very, very straight, very heavy, pushing against the wall, lift. So you don't want, you want to increase here your length of the waist, and especially on the underside right here, we tend to collapse here. So don't collapse there. Use a little height. So keep the waists long. And press the back foot against the wall. Okay, inhale, press the foot against the wall and lift. Okay, and we'll practice 2 more standing poses. So we'll come back against the wall, put that left heel on the wall, turn the right foot forward, and here I bend the front knee. So this pose, there isn't a set distance in between the foot. You just want to have this 90 degree of your knee here. Okay, and come down onto Parsvakonasana. Give yourself a very nice stretch in the legs. Press that left heel against the wall. Inhale and come up. Okay, and same thing on the right side. So right heel against the wall. Left foot is forward, so it's facing the opposite wall. We're going to inhale, exhale, bend the knee here, and come down as far as is accessible. So here is just fine. And down to the block. And really press the right heel into the wall. So it's a nice way to, to practice every now and then. So keeping the back heel engaged with the wall, inhale and come up. Okay. And using the wall, so having that support of the wall, I'm going to come into my half moon pose. And actually, I think I will use a wall for this one too. Okay, so here I come up into half moon. I use the wall for my for support, and keep this right leg engaged. This leg is, very active, but the back leg is even more active. So press that heel into the wall. Make the left leg very, very active, and come into your Ardha Chandrasana. And come down, all the way down. So the theme of our practice sort of became making sure that we don't ignore the second leg and use the wall to teach that leg how to be active and how to support the standing leg. So we'll do the same thing on the other side here. I'm gonna come in, press my right heel onto the wall this time. So really make this leg engage. Just have all of the muscles here hug the bone. This leg is very active. Heel pushing against the wall. Left leg is straight. Come into your half moon. Use the wall here for support if you need it. So great pose to get your foot balancing and stronger. Lift your arch. And then inhale, exhale, come all the way down with the back foot. So never bring this back foot forward. And that was it. And so you can finish off with a downward dog. So bring hands, and we can also use the wall here. Heels to the wall or to the floor. Okay, come down. And we are right around 30 minutes. You can practice your wall hang for a breath or two where you're just having the sit bones on the wall and you're really working the back of the leg. You're pushing these sit bones up towards the ceiling and the heels on the mat. So heels down and sit bones up, and you can really engage here the back of the leg, rotating the thighs in. Okay, and then inhale, come up, and you can relax in Shavasana for a minute or so. So we'll come down to Shavasana. And close your eyes. Make sure that you are symmetrically laying down on your mat. So release any tension in the eyes, the ears, and the throat. And the belly. And take 3 breaths here. So they don't have to be deep breaths or any, just normal breaths. And with every breath, release any tension in the eyes, the ears, and the throat. And then bring the knees together. If you want to stay longer in Shavasana, go ahead and stay as long as you'd like. And if you're ready, just roll to the right and get up. So this was a nice, quick practice. Hopefully the pushing the leg against the wall helps you in your practice, how to train to keep the weight on the back leg and always keep your legs engaged in the practice. And in engaging the legs, you don't add more tension to the eyes, ears, and throat. And you start practicing in the way that you're releasing versus just powering through the tightness. So hopefully you had a nice practice. If there's any questions or comments, just send me a comment in the description or the comments section below. All right, thank you so much. See you next Monday. And please let me know if there's anything you would like to request. Thank you.